Om Dakshinasya Samarambha Shankaracharya Madhyama Asmadacharya Praryanta Smarya Guru Parampara Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaran Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Parijnanashrama Shri Guru Shankara Parijnanashrama Shankara Sadguru Keshava Vamana Krishna Panduranga Ananda Parignana Guru Satyojata Shankara Sadguru Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः वेदान्तडिण्डिमास्तत्त्वम् एकम् उद्घोषयन्ति यत् आस्तां पुरस्तात् तत्तेजः दक्षिणामूर्तिसन्निधम्. So now Vedantadindimah is continuing forward, where we found that up till the 10th verse I told you, Vedantadindimah talks about Atma Anatma Viveka. And it gives absolutely the Vedanta Pramanas, gives the Pramanas from various Upanishads. Vedanta means Upanishad. So the text, the author gives various Vedanta Pramanas to talk about the whole universe, including the very Jiva itself. The Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, the whole universe is divided. The threefold universe, which involves the Jiva, the Jagat, and Ishvara. Here, the author, Narasimha Saraswati, divides it into actually a twofold universe. That is the I and the not I, Atma and Anatma, subject and the object, the knower and the known, the seer and the seen. Like that, from different angles, from different points of view, the Acharya is trying to say that this threefold universe can be actually seen only as a twofold universe, and there is nothing other than the subject object here. The whole universe is nothing but the subject and object. And he, in every verse, up till the 7th verse, he said that which is the knower, that which is the seer, that which is the Atma, is one and only. It is nityam. It is imperishable. It does not undergo any changes. Whereas anatma is that which is impermanent, frequently undergoes changes, and that which is not constant at all. That principle which is constant, ekam, one, that is nothing other than I, the knower consciousness. I, the consciousness, who acts as the, or who becomes the consciousness, the consciousness behind the knower, the consciousness behind the seer, behind all the activities of this ahankara, body, mind, sense complex. There is one consciousness which is lighting up all the activities of the body, mind, sense complex and ahankara. And this consciousness is called as Atma. And Atma is of the nature of Nityatvam, Sukhaswarupam, Purnatva Swarupam, Ekam, Advitiyam, Ekameva Advitiya Atma. And what is this Atma? It is none other than Brahman. What is Brahman? That which is the existence, the consciousness behind everything in this universe. That which manifests as this body mind sense complex, that which manifests as the entire name and form Jagat, which is nothing but existence and consciousness, is called as Brahman. From the point of view of the total, we call it as Brahman. From the point of view of this individual body mind sense complex, we call it the witness consciousness or the Atma. But this Atma and Brahman, from both the point of view, from the Vyashti point of view, what I call as consciousness or Atma, from the Samashti point of view, it's just a point of view, what I call as Brahman, are one and the same. Like Lord Krishna said in the 13th chapter, all of us mumukshus should remember that one particular verse in the 13th chapter, Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu. Everywhere, behind every object, behind everything that we see, there is nothing but this unseen Atma, unrecognized Atma or Brahman, because it is Sukshmat Sukshmataram, the subtlest of the subtle, that consciousness, the subtlest of the subtle, which is the existence. And this existence consciousness, which we say Atma, Brahman, from various different standpoints, that is the only thing which is countable. That is the only thing which is really available. Everything else that we look at, everything else that we see is nothing but name and form. Now, a question may come, which will come here in the future also. If you say there is nothing other than the Brahman, there is only this Atma consciousness and Brahman, then why is Vedanta dividing the whole thing into two as Atma and Anatma? Is Anatma really there? If you say there is only one Brahman, which is manifesting as this body mind sense complex also, there is only this one Atma Brahman which is manifesting as the entire universe also. If that is the case, then what is the need to say that there are two things, that there is Atma and Anatma, Nitya and Anitya? Why? Because though it is the truth, there is nothing other than the Brahman, there is only one thing. But we are seeing multiples. And what is it that is seen in multiples? It's only the name and form, nothing else. The consciousness existence behind this body mind sense complex, the consciousness existence behind the entire universe is one and the same. There is nothing else other than this consciousness. However, multiplicity is a mere appearance. And Vedanta says, when you hold on to the names and forms, when you hold on to the multiplicity and the duality of the universe, when you hold on to your body, mind, sense complex as the reality, you see, this name and form is reality, this body, mind, sense complex is reality. As long as I hold on to the name and form as the reality, then I am ignorant. That means I do not know. What is behind every name and form is this Atma, this consciousness, this Brahman. But for me, the ignorant person, right now, what is the truth? The multiple names and forms are the truth. The body, mind, sense complex is the truth. And I do not see that subtle, sukshmat, sukshmataram, nitya, shuddha, buddha, atma, I do not see because it is so subtle that I am not able to objectify it. What is my tendency? The usual tendency of us is, because of our ignorance, we objectify everything. I have objectified Brahman as the whole universe because I take the manifest names and forms as the reality, which are not. I take this body mind sense complex, which is a mere name and form and a manifestation of this Atma, I take it as the reality. That is my samsara. That is my ignorance. And once the jnani is capable of looking at that existence, consciousness, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma, Atma as the ultimate adhishtanam of the individual body, mind, sense complex, as well as the entire universe, then I realized that there is nothing other than this Brahman. The names and forms are mere appearances. That's why Vedanta says Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. And what is this Brahman? Ahameva tat Brahma asmi. Therefore, Ahameva Satyam. This body mind sense complex is mithya. My house is mithya as much as my body is mithya. My children, they're mithya. The consciousness behind my children, the consciousness behind this body mind sense complex, the existence and consciousness behind all that I own as the object, that is the reality. Whereas whatever is in the form of constantly changing names and forms is not the reality at all. Therefore, in the 8th, 9th, and 10th verses, what did the Acharya say here? There is only thing which is Shravana Yogyam. There is only one thing which is Manana Yogyam. There is only one thing which is Niddhidhyasana Yogyam. Chintya, Achintya first he said, that is, what did he say? Shrotravya ashravya pararupa udvav. Then he said Chintya, Achintya padartha udvav. Then he said Dhyeya, Adhyeya padartha udvav. The only thing which is worth listening to, the only thing which is worth, going deeper into, the only thing which is worth contemplating upon is nothing but this consciousness, this Atma. Nothing else is worth listening to or contemplating upon. Why? Because that which is not worth listening to, that which is not worth thinking about, that which is not worth contemplating about is the mere name and form universe, which is constantly changing. Whereas that which really gives me the freedom from this constant changing name and form world is nothing but this Brahman, and this can be got only through proper Shravanam. What is Shravanam? Guru Shastra Upadesha Shravanam. Whatever is said in the Shastra about my reality, the reality of the Jagat, the reality of Ishvara, listening to that and understanding the reality of this is what is called as Shravanam. So, Atma va are drishtavyaha. Atma or Brahman is the only thing to be known. How is it to be known? Shrotavyo, mantavyo, nididhyasitavyaha. This Atma Brahman should be known because that's the only thing worth knowing by a process of Jnana Yoga called as Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam. And when do I get the Yogyata for Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasana? With Karma Yoga, there is sufficient Chitta Shuddhi. Chitta Shuddhi from all my gross and subtle malas that are there. Malas means impurities of the mind. Raga, Dveshadi malas. That can go only by Karma Yoga. Then Chitta Naischalyam. My constantly wandering mind, continuously wandering mind can be put to rest and made capable of Shravanam and Mananam by Upasana Yoga. Therefore, once Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, by these, when the mind, the intellect is prepared, becomes Jnana Yogyaha, then the sadhanas that are there for us to know this reality of myself, the reality of this entire universe, is through a process of Jnana Yoga called as the Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam. So, with this, we have now completed the first 10 verses, which are talking about what is called as the Atma Anatma Viveka. Now, what is the phalam of this Atma Anatma Viveka? When I have the Atma Anatma Viveka, what happens? I automatically develop a sense of vairagya or detachment from anatma, isn't it? When I understand that something is mithya, something is just an appearance, that something which I am really constantly dabbling in is a mere experience. There is no reality in it. Even if I struggle to get it, it is like something which just comes to my hands and it just goes. It's like going after a treasure in the dream. I may feel that there is a treasure in the dream, but when I realize that that treasure in the dream is as good or as bad as the dream, when I wake up, I stop changing that treasure, isn't it? Supposing I wake up from a dream where I'm chasing a treasure, will I chase it in the real life when I wake up? I just laugh at it and say, yeah, I found some treasure in my dream. And funny, I was running after it. I was trying to discover it. But that's what we are doing in our daily life also. That treasure, which is the real me, the Atma Swarupa, we have left far behind, running after it, doing so many things. But our direction of search is absolutely in the opposite direction. We are running after Anatma in search of that permanent security, peace, and happiness which is not to be found. And once this Atma Anatma Viveka is there, automatically there is a disenchantment or vairagya or detachment from the world of objects, which is called as vairagya. And then there is a deep desire in me, mumukshutvam, to know, to understand that what I am going to know from Vedanta, the real Swarupam of myself, Atma Swarupam, is the only way out of this samsara. So, here in the next few verses, author Narasimha Saraswati says that this knowledge alone can give me moksha. Moksha means what? Freedom from samsara. Samsara means what? A life of becoming, a life of wanting, a life of not feeling happy with anything, a life of always a discontentment, a life of regrets, a life of anxiety, a life of always thinking that I would be better off somewhere else, with somebody else, with some other person, in some other job, doing something else. That constant feeling of unsettled feeling, the constant feeling of wanting to be something else, the constant feeling of I want to be somewhere else, becoming. That is what we are. This wanting from becoming something is really moksha. And what is samsara? Wanting to become something, the life of becoming. So, what here in the next few verses, what is being said is moksha is something. That means this literally giving up the race of wanting to be something, wanting a life of becoming, that is called as moksha. That is called as freedom from samsara. And what can give me that freedom from samsara? Moksha, it is called as. And what can it give me? Only knowledge. What knowledge? Not laukika knowledge. Not the knowledge of music, not the language of mathematics, not the knowledge of economics, not the knowledge of painting, art, whatever it is. That is a laukika jnanam. So jnanattu eva kaivalyam means not laukika jnanat, atma jnanattu eva kaivalyam. And whoever it is, whoever it is, however exalted the person may be, he may be a deva, he may be anybody, if I desire total freedom once and for all from this life of becoming called as moksha, it is only Atma Jnanam that can give me moksha. Give me means what? Make me understand what moksha is. Freedom from samsara. Now he says, Jnanatyeva. And he divides the entire world into different kinds of people. So 11th verse, let us see. He says, Yogino bhogino vapi Tyagino raginopi cha jnanan moksho na sandeha iti vedantadindimah. Yogino va, bhogino va, tyagino va, ragino va api cha. He said takes 4 kinds of people. There may be a yogi, a big yogi, an Ashtanga yogi who's well known for all his, yoga sadhanas. Such a yogi, he may be a great yogi. He may be able to give a lot of mental and physical health to many people. A yogi may be alive for much more than what a normal person is, in perfect health. But even a yogi like that, an expert in Ashtanga yoga, an expert in Hatha yoga, an expert in whatever kind of yogas nowadays we have, so many types of yogas they talk about. Ultimately, yoga just means, disciplining the mind and the body to see that the body, mind, sense complex are more in a healthy state. That's it. But here, even for a yogi, without this knowledge, without the Atma Jnana, there is no question of freedom. Even a yogi, even a master yogi, he may be the exalted, the highest in his field in yoga, but even a yogi is restricted to the body mind sense complex. So if this yogi has to go beyond this body mind sense complex, he has to go through jnana yoga, he has to get this jnanam and then freedom. So any yogi, however exalted he may be or she may be, jnanam is the only way for moksha. Then the next group, he says, bhogino vapi, yoginaha, okay? Bhoginaha, grahastas. Grahastas are called as bhogis. Now, of course, this is the explanation which the Acharya gives here, Narasimha Saraswati. The one who goes through various bhogas, goes through the variety of bhogas of this life, bhogi. And generally it is accepted that a grahastha is a bhogi because he has the vitta, loka, putra, he's got the setup to be a bhogi, isn't it? A yogi may be a person who is kind of by himself, withdrawn from the world, etc. A yogi who's content with whatever, yoga he's doing, whatever kind of a scientific way of disciplining the body, mind, fine. There may be a bhogi. A bhogi is a grahastha, that is what is said. Of course, now it is very difficult. Anybody can be a bhogi, in the garb of anything, anybody can be a bhogi. But normally a bhogi refers to a grahastha. Even for a grahastha, the one who is surrounded by all the bhogas in this world, even for an exalted bhogi, without knowledge, without Atmajnanam, there is no moksha. An example of Lord Krishna himself is taken in this. Okay? Lord Krishna himself. Mahabhogi, Mahayogi he is called as Yogeshwara Krishna. Bhagwan Krishna had all the bhogas around him. But it is this knowledge he knows. He is after all Avatara, isn't it? He is after all Atman, Lord Vishnu, who has taken a particular body, okay? Mayam Adhishtaya, his own power, Maya Shakti, presiding over it. Atma, Lord Vishnu, as Atma, has appeared in the form of, in the body mind sense complex called as Lord Krishna. But he's a bhogi, an example of a bhogi, a grahastha, who is enjoying various bhogas. The best example that is given is of Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna also, though he is Paramatman himself, went to his Guru to get this knowledge. And it is this knowledge, Atmajnanam, which made him give this knowledge to Arjuna. And he says, I have got hundreds of things to be done in these entire three worlds. But still then I'm not bound by any of them. Why? Because I'm not a karta. I know that I'm not a karta. I'm not a bhokta. There are so many bhogas around me. It is the body, mind, sense complex which becomes the karta and the bhokta. I, the Atma, is not a bhokta at all. This knowledge is actually what frees even a grahastha from all these bhogas which is surrounded by. It doesn't matter. Yes, ashrama wise, varna leave, ashrama wise, I'm a grahastha. Yes, I have to go through certain bhogas. I cannot avoid certain things. I have to do certain things. But who am I? Am I this body, mind, sense complex which is enjoying the bhogas and doing? No. These enjoyments, these bhogas, this bhoga doesn't belong to me. I am that Atma Chaitanyam which is free from all these bhogas. Therefore, if a grahastha has to be free from all the bhogas and be mukta, he also needs what? This jnanam. So, yogino, bhogino vapi. Whether it's a yogi, whether it is a grahastha, bhogi, there is no question of happiness or release from samsara, freedom from the binding of samsara, unless the yogi or the bhogi are jnanis. In a yogi, that yoga itself may bind this person. We have seen so many yogis who are arrogant, who are proud of their own art, whatever it is. We have seen that, isn't it? So, what it means is that, if even if you're the highest of the yogis or the bhogis, or a highest exalted grahastha like Krishna, what keeps one free from samsara is nothing but this knowledge, which is called as moksha. Jnanattu eva moksha, for a yogi also, for a bhogi also. Even the highest of the yogis cannot claim that he is mukta unless this knowledge is there. Therefore, whether it is a yogi or whether it is a bhogi, jnanat mokshaha. Only jnanattu eva kaivalyam. Then next one, tyagino ragino vyapi. Tyaginaha. Okay. The one who has given up all the karmas and taken up to their lifestyle of sannyasa. An example that is given is like Shukamuni. Shukamuni, or many of these great sannyasis who have left everything. You can take Sanakadi Maharishis also. Sanakadi Rishis also. They did. Tyaga means what? They gave up this material world. They gave up this life of materialistic life, completely detached from that, and focused their entire energies on understanding this knowledge. It doesn't mean that a sannyasi automatically gets moksha. No. There is a lot of misunderstanding in this. Just because I have taken up to a lifestyle of sannyasa and left everything, I don't have to get moksha. Even for a sannyasi, it is aham brahmasmi jnanam, and abiding in this jnanam alone which gives me moksha. By merely being a tyagi, by merely being an external sannyasi, it is not going to give me moksha. I may leave everything behind and go. That is there. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to get any kind of a moksha from this. So whether it is a whether it is a yogi, whether it is a bhogi, or whether it is a tyagi, ultimately what gives me moksha is nothing but jnanam. What jnanam? The jnanam that aham brahmasmi iti jnanam alone ultimately gives me moksha. Then the last one, ragino piva. For example, there are so many uh, kings like Janaka, etc. Janaka was a king, correct? Lord Indra, who is actually the king of the heavens. But for them also, To be free, they had to have this knowledge. Janaka got this knowledge, Atmajnanam, from gurus like Yajnavalkya, from gurus like Ashtavakra. Even Lord Indra had to get this knowledge from Uma Haimavati, the very mother, Shruti Mata had to come and give him this knowledge. Indra also got this knowledge from Prajapati Brahma. So, even being the greatest king on this earth, like if you take the regular our world, people like Ashwapati, people like Janaka, they were all, emperors. But that raga means what? Attached to an empire, attached to the multiple, what you call as the, wealth and other things, that did not give them any freedom. Freedom from samsara. What did they have to do? They had to have this knowledge. And then, in spite of running a big empire, it is said that Janaka Maharaja was a jnani and nothing really troubled him. He did his work, he did his duty as a Raja, like Lord Krishna did his duty in every way, but then nothing affected him. Neither the positive things nor the negative things. Dharma and adharma, papa, punya, nothing affected him. Similarly, kings like Janakadi, Ashwapati, Janaka, we see that in Bhagavad Gita also, when Krishna says, your predecessors like Ashwapati and Janaka also went through this Karma Yoga, prepared their intellects, and had this Jnanam, Guru Shastra Rupena, this Jnanam they had, and then they got free. That's what Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, even in Bhagavad Gita. So, Ragino Vapi, those who have been kings, who have had to really take care of large empires, where they're in charge of large amounts of wealth, unparalleled power. So it's so easy to get lost in this, isn't it? Wealth and power, and there's nothing to stop one for a Chakravarti. Such people can get totally waylaid or misled. But ultimately, what? They, with this knowledge, attained that stability of the mind, that centering of the mind, by which none of this power and wealth corrupted them, did not cause any problems. So he says, he divides this, our Narasimha Saraswati divides the whole universe again into 4 types of people. Either they are yogis, or they are bhogis, or they are tyagis, or they are, ragis. Okay, one way of dividing. It need not be the ultimate. In different ways, you can divide different people, from Varanas, context, from ashrama context, from how they are in this society. Like that, different divisions can be made, which are going to come later also. Says, Jnanat mokshaha na sandeha. There is no doubt, whoever you may be, whatever you may be. You may be the highest qualified scholar. You may be one of the highest yogis. You may be one of the most exalted grastas. You may be a deva, for all you know. Or even you may be whatever it is. But they are all your external acquisitions. They don't give moksha. They may give you some sukha for some time. That's it. But beyond that, jnanatu eva mokshaha na sandeha. There is absolutely no sandeha. Why? Because it is a Vedantadindimah. This is what is talked about in the Upanishads. And we are having Shraddha in the Upanishad. That is why we have come to the Upanishads. And what the Upanishads say and what the Gurus say about moksha is that jnana tu eva kaivalyam. Whoever you may be, whatever you may be, if you want total freedom from samsara, it is Atma Jnanam alone. Nothing else can give me moksha. Next, he goes to the next verse, the 12th verse, where he divides the humanity into Varnas and Ashramas. Okay, so I'm not a yogi, I'm not a bhogi, I'm not a tyagi, I'm not a ragi. Then who am I? At least I have a varna and ashrama, isn't it? So says in the 12th verse, Na varna ashrama sanketaihi na karmopasanadibhihi brahma jnanam vina moksha iti vedantadindimah. Brahma jnanam vina moksha na. Brahma jnanam vina. Without Brahma jnanam, there is no moksha for any person. Na varnashrama sanketaihi. Just because I am a brahmachari or I am a grahastha or I have left everything and become a vanaprasthi, I am doing the upasana and karma all the time. I am a sannyasi, I have left everything, I am wearing ochre robes and then I am roaming around in the forest on bhiksha. No, whatever may be your varna, whatever may be your ashrama, your lifestyle has changed. There is a mere change in the lifestyle, but none of the varnas, none of the ashramas. Varna means what? Whether I am a brahmana, whether I am a kshatriya or a vaishya or a shudra, whatever it is. Moksha is abiding in my own swarupam, and it is the birthright of every individual. Whether it's a Brahmana or Kshatriya or Vaishya or a Shudra, this knowledge is a birthright of every individual, and moksha is the swarupam of every individual, irrespective of Varna and Ashrama Dharma. But what is needed? Brahma Jnanam, Atma Jnanam. Brahma Jnanam vina moksha nasti iti Vedantadindimah. So what he says is, na varnashrama sanketaihi, na karma upasanadibhihi. No karma, no upasana can give me moksha. It can only give me higher worlds. Exalted karmas I do. By Krishna Gati, I may go to higher lokas, Svarga lokas. Lot of exalted upasanas I do. I may go to still higher lokas. Karma upasana samuchayas I do. Maximum I may go to Brahmaloka. But from Brahmaloka onwards, they are all recyclable. That's what Lord Krishna says. Punaravartinaha. All these lokas, from the Patala Loka upwards to Brahmaloka, all these lokas are within samsara. The amount of sukha experienced, experiential sukha dukkha may be different. But all the 14 lokas, including Brahmaloka, come under the definition of samsara. And therefore, what he says is, karma can give me various higher lokas, svarga lokadi praptihi. But tetam bhuktva svarga lokam vishalam, kshine punye martya lokam vishanti. Exalted karmas I have done. And after the fall of this body, I reach some higher world, Swarga, Pitruvaloka, this Loka, that Loka, whatever it is. How long am I going to be there? I'm paying every minute with the currency of my punya. When my punya exhausts, I have to come back to this Martya Loka. Similarly, in Brahmaloka also, if I don't get Krama Mukti, if I don't get freedom with this by this knowledge in Brahmaloka, which is a last chance for me, what happens? I come back again in the next creation. Okay, so Brahmaloka onwards, they are punaravartinaha, recyclable. And all the worlds, all the lokas achieved by any number of karmas, any number of upasanas are ultimately recyclable. I may get a long holiday in a wonderful loka because of my punya, because of my punya karmas and upasana. But I have to come back again. And because of the papa karmas or whatever it is standing in my balance, I may go to Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Talatala, Mahatala, Patala, but that's also time bound. I have to come out of there also. My papa also has to get exhausted, just like my punya gets exhausted. Probably punya will get exhausted faster, and maybe papa takes a longer time to get exhausted, because there is so much more papa that we have accumulated than punya. That's what we see around the world, in our own surroundings every day. Okay, therefore, he says, Brahma Jnanam Vina Mokshaha Nasti. There is no question of moksha for any varna, for any ashrama, for any person who has done any kind of a karma or upasana. There is no question of moksha. Permanent release from samsara. Permanent release from coming back again and again and again, coming and going again and again. There is no possibility without moksha. Moksha, or understanding my reality, abiding in my nature, my reality, knowing aham brahmasmi, knowing aham akarta abhokta atma asmi, aham nitya shuddha buddha mukta atma asmi. Unless I know this, there is no question of moksha. Iti Vedantadindimah. This is the very drum beat or proclamation of Vedanta. So here, that's why he says in these two verses, the author is trying to say that the only thing that really releases me from samsara is jnanam. Jnana tu eva kaivalyam. Na karma bhihi, not from any karmas, not by any upasanas. Now let us go to the 13th verse, which says, the ultimate fulfillment is only in me, myself, in Atma, in myself, in Brahman. Atma, I am the real Sukha Swarupam, not the Jagat. The Jagat is not a not a place where I can look for sukha. Now, the question is always asked. See, how do you say that this Jagat cannot give me sukha? In my own life, I've experienced so much of happiness from the Jagat, from my property that I have, from the children that I have, from my friends and surroundings. The ahankara, mamakara, and Jagat, have they not given me any kind of a sukha? They have given me. How can I say that Jagat is not a source of happiness? How can I say that Jagat is not a source of fulfillment? What we have to understand is it is not a permanent source of happiness and fulfillment. I think in one of the previous sessions, I said, what are the doshas in this anatma? There is fulfillment, no doubt. We all have experienced beautiful moments in our lives, happy moments in our lives. We have achieved so many things which have given us happiness. But one thing we have to understand is, are those moments, how long have they been with us? Has it been easy to acquire those moments? How much struggle I had to do to acquire those moments of peace? How much of struggle it was to maintain that peace? Hardly lasts. The moment you get that peace and happiness out of something, there's something else waiting to spoil. As a spoiled sport, something is waiting, some news is waiting. I'm so happy that, oh, I've achieved this, I've done this, I've got this much. Just next 5 minutes, there can be a news which can completely destroy your, whatever, happiness that you had achieved. So, what they want to say is the real sukham, the real fulfillment, and Purnatvam is only Brahman, only I, the Atma. Whereas all the other things in the samsara means all the other things in the world outside, yes, there are temporary sources of happiness. That's why when Yajnavalkya leaves his two wives, Katyayani and Maitreyi, to retreat to the forest, to remain forever in this niddhidhyasanam or abiding in this knowledge, he divides his wealth between his two wives. And Maitreyi, who is a Brahmavadini, his wife, second wife, who is actually a mumukshu, a Brahmavadini, asks him, you are dividing all the wealth between me and your other wife, and you are going in search of Amritatvam, to abide in that Amritatvam. Can you tell me, sir? Can you tell me, Guru? She calls her husband as Guru. Bhagavan, hey Guru, this money that you are leaving me behind, can it get me Amritatvam? If that is so, why should you leave it and go? If you are leaving something and going for Amritatvam, then why are you leaving that same thing to me? Don't you want me to be also getting Amritatvam? If that which you are rejecting and going away and giving it to me partly, tell me, hey Guru, hey husband, tell me whether that vittam which you are leaving for me, will it give me that Amritatvam? Will it give me that which you want to go away to abide in? Then Yajnavalkya says, no, my dear, vittam or money or any kind of resource cannot give you Amritatvam. It can only give you little bit of luxuries and a little bit of buying power, a little bit of comfortable life. That's it. Okay. So here we are not trying to put down resources. Money and resources are also Lakshmi. We are not putting them down. What Vedanta says is, there is a role for that, no doubt, but it is limited. That's all it is. It cannot give you Amritatvam. It can only give you a sense of temporary fulfillment. It can only give you something, a sense of, a sense of peace and security. Even that security, we don't know how much, but a kind of sense, security that, okay, I have got this much. I don't have to depend on somebody. I don't have to, stretch my hands in front of anybody for anything. I have got enough to independently survive. Now, that kind of a temporary security it can, but we don't know. We really don't know what is going to happen. Like you see the war-torn countries, in 1 minute, everything is gone. Everything is gone. So really don't know what the security is, how far this security is really a security. Of course, yes, the resources can give me buying power. The resources can give me some kind of a comfort in my life, which probably a person who doesn't have any resources has to struggle for his day-to-day living, which I may not have to do. That's all it is. But will this Vittam give me Amritatvam? Will it give me that Purnatvam constantly, that Purnatvam, that fulfillment? No, it won't give me. That is what is being told here. He says that Asatya sarva samsaraha rasabhasadi dushitaha upekshyo brahma vigneyam iti vedantadindimaha. So he says, sarva samsaraha asatyaha. Asatya means you have to understand very clearly. Asatya means not that which is absent. Supposing a guru says that this world does not exist, it is not there at all. How can I accept it? I'm seeing a world solidly. I'm interacting solidly with this world outside, which is made up of other living beings and non-living objects. I'm also getting some kind of a fulfillment from this world. I'm able to achieve so many things with this world outside. How can you say it does not exist? Asatyam does not mean absent. Asatyam does not mean it is tucham. Tucham means totally absent. Asatyam means that which appears to be there, that which appears to be real, but which is not real. It is merely an appearance. We have seen many times this in our earlier, last 5 years of Vedanta also, isn't it? Sunrise and sunset. Is it wrong? It is everybody's experience that the sun is rising, sun is setting. Is there something wrong with this? No. But is it a reality? It is not a reality. Is it a paramarthika satyam? No, it is a vyavaharika satyam. All of us experience the sunrise and sunset. But when the knowledge comes that it is not the sun that is rising and setting, it is the very movement of the earth because of which the sun appears to be rising, appears to be setting. This knowledge does not, remove my experience. I still experience the sunrise. I still experience the sunset. I still photograph sunrise and sunset. I still enjoy sunrise and sunset. I still spend thousands of rupees to go to a site where, oh, sunrise point, sunset point. So it does not do any problem. It has no problem with my experience. But now I know the truth that in spite of really the sun not rising and not setting, I still enjoy this. And sunrise and sunset is an experiential reality. It is not the absolute reality. The earth is flat, experiential reality, not the real ultimate reality. Similarly, what is said is all that, samsara means the world that we are seeing. Yes, it exists. What kind of an existence it is? It is the names and forms with which we are interacting. It is an experience, it's a temporary experience, it's an experiential reality. It is really not there. In my waking hours, I interact with this whole universe. When I'm dreaming, this universe is not there for me. When I'm in deep sleep, this universe is not there for me. If this Jagat was the ultimate truth or ultimate reality in all the three states, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, the world should have existed for me. Out of the three, only in one the world really is available for my transaction. Then is it reality? It is a relative reality, which we call as Vyavaharika Satyam. And this Vyavaharika Satyam is given another name called Mithya. So Asatya here means Mithya. Mithya means what? It appears as though it is, but it is really not. Like a dream. In dream, it appears as if it is real. But when I come out of the dream, I may talk about the dream, I may discuss my dream, I may laugh about my dream, but I know that it was only an experiential reality at the time of dream and it is not relevant. Therefore, it is mithya. So when you say asatyaha sarva samsaraha, Vedanta says this whole universe of names and forms is a vyavaharika satyam, an experiential reality. It is not the absolute reality. Why? He says, rasa bhasadi dushitaha. All the happiness, the unhappiness that I find in the objects of the world are mere reflections of my own mind. Anything which I am happy about, that particular object gives me a sense of happiness. The object itself, a human being itself, does not have inherent happiness. My son, my daughter, my grandchild. There are so many small children. Will they evoke in me that sense of fulfillment? No. But my grandchild invokes a different sense of a fulfillment. Then what is it? Is there inherent fulfillment in the world of objects? No. Inherently, all the objects in the world, including other human beings, are rasa bhasadi dushitaha. There is only abhasa of rasa in them. Happiness is only abhasa in them. Okay, this person gives me happiness. It is an abhasa. Because what happens? This person evokes a sense of happiness in my mind, and I feel he gives me happiness. She gives me happiness. That is not true. My own Atmas Ananda, my own, inherent or internal happiness or unhappiness gets reflected into the world of objects. So, rasa abhasadi dushita. So, whatever happiness I find in the world of objects is only an abhasa. It is only as though it is there, as though it is there. That's all. Really, it is not there. Okay. The happiness that I like, it is something like, we have always given that example, a dog chewing on a bone. It really enjoys that bone. But what it is enjoying is the taste of the blood which is come out of its own mouth. Because that chewing on that bone is, making the dogs, it is injuring the dog's inner mucous membrane of the mouth, and it's causing some bleeding. And the dog thinks that, wow, this bone is the source of blood or taste. Nothing else, isn't it? If I have lost taste in COVID or something, the same gulab jamun tastes tasteless to me. But for another person for whom taste is intact, gulab jamun tastes sweet. So what is it now? Is sweetness the inherent nature of that? No, it is not. So is happiness an inherent aspect, attribute of the world outside? No. Rasa means happiness. Rasa or enjoyment or happiness is only abhasa rupena vartate. Where? In the objects of the world. Every object of the world is inherently not sukhadayaka or dukkhadayaka. It is neutral. What makes it something which gives me happiness, something which gives me sadness, is the reflection of my Atma Ananda, or my, the Ananda, or the, state of my mind. Isn't it? I like something which you don't like. You like something which I don't like. If a particular object has an inherent liking in it, then all of us should have liked it equally, isn't it? I hate something, you like that something. I can't stand the smell of something, you love that smell and you want to eat it. Now, what is it? Is that really that happiness of the smell is there in that? No. What I enjoy, what I don't enjoy, what I suffer is not inherently in the object of the world. It is something which is reflecting my own state of mind. Therefore, he says, rasa abhasadi dushitaha, therefore, upekshyaha. Therefore, the world of objects is worth ignoring beyond a certain extent. Enjoy it as long as it's giving you something, but understand fully that this is not something which is giving me enjoyment through it. There is no inherent enjoyment in it. I like jalebi, jalebi gives me happiness. Somebody else doesn't like it, doesn't give him or her happiness. So, inherently, the capacity to enjoy a particular thing is not in the object, but it is within me. Therefore, let us have a neutral attitude towards all the objects of the world. Let us not go behind them, nor let us not even push them away. So he says, Upekshaha. May you have a very, very, what you call, very, not neither a positive nor a negative view, but be indifferent. Yes, it is there. Yes, it gives me some kind of a temporary state of happiness. Yes, there is something here which is giving me temporarily a kind of dukkha. Nothing is inherently there. It is my own. It is my own state of whatever it is, my state of mind or whatever it is, which makes me like something today, doesn't make me like something tomorrow. So, therefore, the whole of samsara is a mere appearance, and all the things in the samsara, in the world, have the rasa that is there, happiness that is there, is a mere abhasa, which is merely superimposed. Therefore, don't take the world too seriously. Upekshaha. Let it not be taken too seriously. Experience it for whatever it is, but don't take it seriously. Brahma Vigneyam iti. The only thing to be known for a permanent fulfillment is nothing but Purnatvam, is nothing but knowing myself as this Brahman. So we'll stop with this. Nandantu sadhaka sarve vinashyantu vidushakaha avastha shambhavi mestu prasannostu gurus sada sarve bhavantu sukhinaha sarve santu niramayaha sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschid dukkham apnuyat Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat.